My name is Andrew Trombley. I'm the Artistic Director of the Sullivan County Chamber Orchestra, and I'm here to talk about an upcoming project of ours, the Four Seasons of Sullivan County. This will be a project combining visual arts, music, and it'll be a collaboration between Nancy Wegrzyn, our composer, Laurie Kilgore, our visual artist, and the Sullivan County Chamber Orchestra. Thank you both for joining me. So I want to ask you both, what does this project mean to you?
Being a Sullivan County resident for most of my life and an artist for the past almost 20 years, locally, it's an incredible opportunity for me to paint the place where I live, that inspires me, and that has helped form me as a visual artist.
Not being a Sullivan County resident, but living in Ulster County, a neighboring county, I know more people and more scenery from this county than I do from my home, because this is where I spend most of my time, both at work and when I want to go driving around and see beautiful scenery. It's Sullivan County.
This is more of a Nancy-specific question, but Laurie, it totally feels to you as well. We recently had a reading of the first movement of Nancy's composition, June. When you both came to the reading, I want to ask, what is your inspiration for June through arts? Sorry, Nancy.
My inspiration, well, I guess I need to explain my inspiration for the entire work, because it doesn't make sense otherwise. I had planned to write a large piece, 30, 40 minutes, that was just start to finish and completely circular, because the seasons are circular. We don't end one and then start another one. But I took a field trip to a reservoir and stood there and looked at the beauty around here, the leaves, the water, the peace, the silence, the utter gorgeous calm. And I thought, what a great idea it would be for me to put together a piece in 4 segments, one for each season, and each segment having 3 movements, like Vivaldi did with his 4 seasons. And as I thought of that, I thought, wait a minute, 4 times 3 is 12. 12 months. There are 12 months. Why don't I just write a little piece for each month and connect them to correlate with the seasons? And as I started that, I began the project in June, and I heard a weatherman make a comment about June, and he said, June, where we have the 10 best days of the year. And I thought, well, that's probably true. In Sullivan County, we definitely have our best weather in June. And I started the piece then with an idea of using tens. The piece has measures of 10 beats in each measure. The piece has phrases that are 10 measures long, which is highly unusual. And as I heard the musicians perform it the other week, I was just thrilled with the way it came out, because it was everything I had hoped for.
I was honored to have been there when they performed and to hear Nancy's piece, because we have talked about it quite a bit over the last few months, but for me, I needed to also hear so I can get a visual sense. Well, as soon as I listened to it, I thought of bright, vibrant colors, the light, the way it would hit the leaves or hit the water, and how it kind of sparkles. There's a lot of that happens in June, and just full of greens and just really brilliance and flowers and a lot of what's in the scenery around here. I haven't quite pinpoint like the exact place, but there's so many beautiful places and landscapes that kind of spoke to me, and lakes that I go to quite often that spoke to me, especially when I heard that piece. Also, in hearing that piece, it kind of helped to formulate kind of like my vision for like the whole series of paintings. So for me, it was the important part of this project is hearing that, because it kind of took me elsewhere in that vision, and something became more concrete, where it was kind of a little off before.
So as we've been talking about this project for probably about a year now, and plans and getting ready for this, and just this past weekend, we actually got to hear the first sounds out of the composition. Music and art, they both come from nothing. So when we actually see or hear the first ideas of compositions, what was your immediate reaction to this?
Well, when I first, in conversations with Nancy, I mean, we had first talked about, you know, being the 4 seasons, so I envisioned 4 paintings. And then in further conversations, when it kind of did do a full circle, I also, and we talked about this kind of eclipse, it was going from sunrise to sunset. So then it became 5 pieces. And how it would actually move through the seasons. What I've also thought about is the colors and how things would change in the landscape and the compositions, the sizes, dimensions, and how it would accurately portray not only my vision of what I see for Sullivan County, but also Nancy's and what I've been able to listen to and hear through her music. I've also been fortunate to hear bits and pieces of little sketches that are coming, and it gives me more of an idea of what my sketches are going to end up looking like and how they're going to evolve.
What was your first reaction to hearing?
It was bright. It was so bright, and I really enjoyed that sound because, as you mentioned, the colors, I was thinking that too. It was like yellows all over.
Yeah, and especially at that time of year, there is a lot of yellows. There's flowers that are blooming, a lot of wildflowers that are starting, and that brightness. And even living and growing up here, June is such a bright and vivid month, and it is the perfect time to be outdoors. It's not too hot. It's like the perfect weather, and so it kind of, I don't know, just listening to it, I just kind of having flashes of the places and the colors and how my paintbrush might react to the canvas, also by listening to her music, and how it would actually look.
Art and music has been a long time collaboration for a long time, but we rarely have opportunities to ask artists and composers. Nancy, I'll start with you. How does the visual arts, whether it's through painting, sculptures, scenery, affect your compositional process?
Oh, I'm very much a programmatic composer. I want anybody who listens to me to be able to visualize something. So when I think of Impressionist painting, I think of how I would do that musically, how I would make Impressionist music. And when I reached the stage of writing October, which is in the middle of the autumn season, I can't remember the painter because I don't think I looked up who the artist was, but I saw this painting that was pointillism, and I thought, oh, colors, so let's do something with colors, and I ended up writing that piece with a lot of whole tone scales, which is considered a color kind of technique for writing music.
Well, for me, I can't paint without music, so I don't like the silence. But I also, it inspires me, it motivates me, it keeps me moving. Sometimes I'll even notice that depending on what I'm listening to, my brush stroke kind of mimic the sounds and the beats that are coming from the music that I'm listening to. It puts me in a zone. It helps me to kind of get lost into the work and what it is that I'm doing. And if you come into my studio, I'm always singing, which is terrible to listen to. But I'm constantly doing that, and it drives what it is that I create. And depending on what I'm creating, also depends on what I'm listening to. So if I want a darker piece of darker music, if I want something that's colorful or bright and vivid, then I listen to something that's more upbeat, or that kind of follows along what it is that I'm creating.
So for both of you, I'd like to ask, what's your favorite season of the year?
I think now I love them all, and I can explain why, because just listening to the music that's being worked on right now, and also with me kind of exploring, and I've lived here most of my life, I'm finding hidden treasures, and I've been exploring and checking things out throughout from June till from now, and I'm going to continue that exploration through the winter and spring. I do love them all, and especially in certain areas, but fall, for its bright, vivid colors, and close second is winter, because of the cool colors. So it's I know it's a big change, but I like color, and things that are bright and vibrant, and that move and vibrate, and definitely autumn for that, but then that calm that comes with winter.
I don't know that I have a favorite. In thinking about this question, I don't really have a favorite. However, maybe I do. I love the seasons here in this part of the country. My husband has been trying to get me to retire and move to Arizona, but I cannot do that ever, so he can go on his own. But I do enjoy the change. So if you ask me now what time of year do I love, I would say winter, because we're headed into winter. If you ask me in February, I'd say spring. So it's the change.
And I think we're so fortunate with living here. One, not only just for the beautiful natural landscape, because there is a change in season, and we are fortunate because we get it all. Okay, we don't just get one season, or we get all of that, and so it's always changing. And for me, being an artist, I can't have anything the same. I like things that change. I like things that move and never stay the same. So for me, visually, it's an incredible time, an incredible experience as an artist to just be able to have that opportunity right in my backyard to paint all of that.
Great. And now I wonder, what do we get to look forward to for the premiere in June?
What do you mean?
What's something that you're particularly excited to share with your projects, your art and your music?
Well, I'm excited to share the steps that I'm going through to get that to these big pieces that I'm working on, and even the future ones that I'm envisioning. I'm excited when it all gets to kind of come together with Nancy's music, and to see how that story plays out, and also that I did her work justice, and the community in which we live in justice, which I know we will do. I'm excited to see it all come together, because we've been working on bits and pieces, we've been discussing things, but that collaboration and just the final, I think it's really going to be quite epic and exciting.
I'm looking forward to hearing it and seeing. I'm seeing and visualizing as I hear the music, seeing Laurie's work, and just that it's so awe-inspiring to have your baby up there. You
Yeah.
get to keep your baby, because your baby doesn't, your baby just sits there and everybody looks at your baby. My baby is here and gone.
Yeah.
Except for recording it, the music doesn't last. But to sit there and absorb it is awe-inspiring.
Also as an artist, I get excited by people's reactions. I get nervous, right? I screw up. But I get excited by people's reactions, and it's going to be interesting after all this hard work we've been putting in, and all this blood, sweat, and tears, and this love, and everything that we're doing for it, to sit back, to see it come together, but to see how everybody reacts to it. I think that right there, when I see people's reaction, then it could be an or if I get something, then I know I did my job as an artist.
Well, I can definitely mirror all these reactions. As the artistic director of this orchestra, we are thrilled for this opportunity, and this is a big thank you to New Music USA for selecting us for their funding. We are honored to be a part of it. You can follow our project as well as the 100-some other amazing projects on their website, newmusicusa.org. Please enjoy the first reading of June from the Four Seasons of Sullivan County, composed by Nancy Wegrzyn.